Thinking about becoming an Olympian? Wondering where your support will come from? Pause. Think about it intentionally and consider where we go from here. Stay tuned and hear Stephen Dirty Newbold's perspective on improving our journey of becoming an Olympian. Join our co-sponsors, Dom Dev Enterprises and Page Investments, and our friends at Island East Realty, D1 Development, and Sammy's Chicken. Post your questions on the chats so that we can endeavor to answer them as we may. Subscribe, like, follow, and share with all your friends. Go tell them on. Come to the mountain because we got the champion in the house today. We'll be right back.
Something to think about with Dale Happy Knowles.
Welcome back to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. What we think, we become. What we radiate, we attract. And what we imagine, we can achieve. Let's change the narrative 2 for 2. So this evening we have another special guest on our show who will dive into a number of good deeds and tell us how it is to become an Olympian and what we can do to improve that process. But before we do that, we have to give reverence to one of our own who has been on this show, the good gentleman who we have celebrated his birthday by airing his interview on our show on July the 20th, I think it was, somewhere around those numbers. He was 91 years of age. The Samuel C. Stubbs, who is actually the MBE. He is also the man who made the big move that caused or influenced the no vote that gave the PLP the majority rule governance at the time in 1967, which paved the way for persons like who we have on the show today to be able to do their deeds and show their skills that they have, that the great Lord has blessed them with. So we pause for 2 seconds to give honor and glory for the life of Mr. Samuel Stubbs. And we say, may his soul and the souls of all the faithfully departed rest in peace. So we'd like to welcome to the show something to think about to Stephen Dirty Newbold. Welcome, Stephen. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Knowles. I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Great, great, great. Now, a lot of people might know you as the phenomenal youth athlete, the champion who had a lot of promise and was on the way that we expected great, 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 great things from you, right?
Yes,
some others who might not be so positive of a vibe might remember some media clips that was put out there that painted you in a negative light whilst you were in school. And we have still those today, in particular, who know you as, and your peers, who know you as a warrior, who always will fight for a cause and to provide free access or equal access and so forth, fairness in the process, even if it comes to your own detriment, that you would do that. And I've learned some things about you on that. And so it gives us the question as to, after lots of thinking, as to what angle we're going to interview you on. You know, and, you know, it was a hard discussion that I had in-house here. But one of the things that we learned a long time ago is that there's power in the name. And so, you know, we drop all of that stuff and we just say, let's just ask him how he get the name Dirty and what it is, because there's plenty of power in that name Dirty.
That's right.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
I got the name at the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium back when I was about between the ages of 11 and 12. My older cousin, who actually has the same name as your son, Devon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hot day just like today, and we were in the sun baking, and usually in August time in the summer, I go from really really light skin in
Mm-hmm.
December to really 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 burnt by the time August hit.
Wow.
And one day he just told me, "Boy, Steven, you really look dirty today." And so the name stuck from
Yeah.
there. But I had a coach by the name of Mr. Rudolph Ferguson.
Okay.
He actually always called me Dirty Red
Mm.
because I have an uncle by the name of Autry Newbold. And
Okay.
everybody knows my uncle
I know
Autry.
Archery. Let me tell you a little secret about Mr. Archery Newbold. My dad was the sheriff. You ever heard
Okay.
him talk about the sheriff?
Yes, sir.
They used to race against each other
All right. So
all the
you know
time.
about the Dirty Red.
Yeah, and I know the Dirty Red never beat the Hemi Cuda,
Oh,
right? So
man.
you could go ask him about that.
Don't get me in that one, Mr.
Yeah,
Nuts.
yeah. Anyway, but you go ahead. I know you'll beat me on the track. You ain't got to worry about that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But go ahead. You
So
go ahead.
it was funny that history kind of aligned itself because my uncle had a fast car by the name of the Dirty Red,
Right.
and here years later, decades later, he has a nephew by the same name who's
Mm-hmm.
pretty quick on the track as well. So I just feel like my name, that was kind of destiny for me, destined,
Well,
I should say.
there's a small world, you know.
Yeah, very small world. That's
You
up.
know, good thing we come on the show. I could learn that because they used to have some of the most heated races back then,
Yes, sir.
right? If you think they race them now hot and how these people would be rowing and carrying on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So much so to the point that one point in time they cut the brakes on my daddy's car. So when he came
Whoa.
to the end of the race, he couldn't stop, and he
Yeah,
had
you
to
can stop.
decide going at whatever close to top speed that they was at that he was going to hit the wall because they had a wall that was supposed to be a breaker at the end of the day, another half a mile down the way. It's only a
Yes,
quarter
sir.
mile race.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the wall, hit the barrels, or go in the bush. And somehow he was
Gone in the
able to
bush.
maneuver the car to miss all of those things and bring the car to a stop after going on a spin of sorts or something like that. But he was hot that day, and they had
Yeah.
to restrain him because he was going to get Betsy and all kind of stuff with some people. So you know how that go, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Mhm. But racing is in our spirit in the Bahamas, and
It truly is.
and I take my hat off to y'all who are on the track because I mean baseball is fine, but it's an enduring sport itself that people don't realize because it has a lot of mental part of it because of the length of the game. But to me, it's nothing like what y'all train for on track and doing that because you could get out of water here and there and stuff, but I think y'all do a different stuff. But
Yes,
tell us
sir.
now,
Training
what
is
about
really
these
different.
dreams that you had? Because I know you want to tell me you had some big dreams when you was a child coming up what inspired you to exercise and to work so hard on the track to accomplish the things that you did.
Well, I mean, it was I'd say a total combination of things. Um, I had an aunt, well, not had an aunt. One of my aunts, her name is Patricia, and I can remember when the 2000 Olympics
Yeah, you
was
want to come
on
a little
the
closer to your mic because I think you're fading when you go back.
fit. Am I close enough?
Yeah, if you come, yeah, then it could hear it better. Okay, go ahead. That's
Maybe
fine. Yeah,
that's fine right there.
yeah, right. Yeah, you
All
heard you
right,
loud
so
and clear. Yeah.
um, I can remember the 2000 Olympics. I would have been 6. My aunt, she sat me right down on the side of her, and we
Mm-hmm.
watched from cycling, archery, all of those sports. They saved the best for last. Track, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know at the
Yeah.
time, but
Mm-hmm.
when the track and field came on, it just did something to me because I was playing soccer at the time,
Mm-hmm.
but I was much more interested in becoming fast. And then my cousin Devon, who bears the same name as your son,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he was from like 13, 14, 15, because he's about 2.5 years older than me.
Right.
he was making all the national teams and stuff. So I just used to look at him and think he was the hardest thing smoking. I wanted to
Right.
be him. You know, he had all the, when you that young, you
Right.
into the girls,
Right.
and
Right.
he had the whole boatload of them. And I put it together that it was because he was fast.
Right. Right. Right.
So I took it more serious because I had a big cousin um, who knew the craft and who knew what to do. So it was kind of easy for me just to incline, I should say.
Yeah, to follow his lead. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Which is key, because I mean that's part of one of the steps for success, right? To have somebody to guide you through the process, and versus bucking into up by yourself.
Yeah, you don't want to go
Yeah.
into it completely blind. But
Yeah.
I was a really good soccer player. I lived in Jacksonville for 1 year, for my fourth grade year, fourth, like going into fifth. So I actually did 2 different grades over there, but it was just one year span.
Right.
And
Right.
I started playing soccer down there. And I got the trophy for the most outstanding kicker on the team.
Right.
I had a thing, yeah, I could steal the ball real good and just go blast it into the goal. And I
Right.
would
Right.
make my coach's son cry every time he played. His dad would tell him, just be more like Steven.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
So I was
Yeah. I know
kind of
about
a
them
decent
days.
soccer player first. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Yeah. So then you move on to St. John's, the big green machine. No, I don't know why you would do
Jolly
that, but
Green
anyhow, yeah,
Giants.
Jolly Green Giants. Yeah. Yeah. We was other green people, but we weren't no athletic school. That's QC. So tell us a little bit about that experience at St. John's when you would have done your deeds there.
When I went to St. John's, this is my introduction into high school,
Okay.
I never seen, like, I don't know why I didn't imagine what high school would be in my 6th grade year. When you in primary school, you think, okay, this really how big people get in school. I mean, you have older cousins and siblings and stuff, but you don't go to the same school as them, so you just oblivious to what more the world has to offer. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, they
So
don't want
when
to
I
talk to you
went to
now.
St. John's College, it was like, I don't know, free reign. Just knowing that, seeing what the older kids did, you know what I mean? They really rub off on you. So in my 7th grade year, I was in, I'm looking how to say this. I did okay in sports my 7th grade year, but I wasn't really focused on sports too hard.
Okay.
It wasn't until, well, the next year, where my seventh grade year would have been like 05, 06. So no, actually not until my 9th grade, which would be the year of the 2008 CUT games.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when I really, really, really got serious back into track and field. Because the introduction into high school, man, I thought I used to see a lot of girls at the track, but high school? So I wasn't as focused as I should have been. Let me put it that way. But by the 9th grade, I got it together. Yes, sir.
And that's when you started to go off to like Crifter and those other major big events. So
yes, sir. After the ninth grade onward. Yes, sir.
So you was the big cheese then at that point,
Yeah, I
or
was
you were still becoming the big
by
cheese?
the time 9th grade hit, and it was so funny about it. I used to be short. I'm about 6'3" now.
Okay.
People look at me like a giant, but I didn't get my height growth spurt until the 10th grade.
Right.
So I was 5'7" and a quarter in from grade 7 straight to grade 9. Then the 10th grade in St. John's, I went to 6'1".
Right.
So that really was part of the key to my success, my growth spurt.
Right. Well, interesting you say that, and we talk about small worlds, because when I was going into my last years, I was 4'8", then I was 5'2", and then I was 5'9" by the time as I left high
Left,
school.
that's
All
right.
those in the space of 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's when I had my knee operations, which they say I grew too fast. But
Ooh.
I don't believe that, but that's what they say. That's what the doctors say. They
Yes,
just
sir.
want to take your money and get you out of pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these championships and the like Crifter and the junior championships, I think what's tell us about those experiences as for high school student.
My first Carifta games would have been in the Cayman Island, at the Cayman Islands. I mean, in the Cayman Islands.
But like, where was it? So people could know that how these opportunities, how sports can give people opportunities to go see the world. I'm
It
sure
was in the Cayman Islands.
Cayman Islands. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
This was my first Carifta, but Shawnee would have been, this was in Cayman Islands in 2010.
Right.
Me and Shawnee were the same age, but she
Okay.
always was like overachiever when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to us. So she had the Carifta the year before, previously,
Right.
in 2009, and I think it was St. Lucia. But my first Carifta would have been in Cayman Islands. I was kind of prepared for it because I had experienced the same type of feeling back at the CUT games in the British Virgin Islands.
Right.
The major difference would have been the discipline I was running, because I won the bronze medal at the CUT games in the 800-meter run. In the
Okay.
800-meter, I was about to say sprint. It is a sprint now, but the
Now,
800-meter run. And my first year at Carifta, I would have won the gold in the 400 hurdles, and I actually broke the record.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
And it was held, it's such a coincidence and funny at the same time. The record was held by my big cousin, Devon. His best friend at the time, his name is Nashmi Burnside. Are
Oh,
you
Nashville.
familiar
Yeah.
with
I
Stan?
know Nashville. Those. Yeah, they good friends of family. Yeah.
Yeah, Nashmi was a
Yeah.
excellent hurdler.
Yeah.
One tremendous athlete. And it was the combination of my best friend, Nashmi, and my cousin,
Yeah.
and his two best friends. One is
Right.
Nashmi, and the next one is Aaron. The
Okay.
combination of those three people, I won't lie to you, is actually what mentored me
To
up
get
until a certain point.
right.
Because Nashmi was the hurdles, my cousin was the 400, and Aaron is the sprinter. So I took a little piece of all of them and brought it together. So I broke Nashmi's record at Carifta in the under 17 boys 400-meter hurdles.
Right.
And he had to run right after me in the under 20 boys. And he came third, I believe. I think he came third. And when we got back to the hotel, he ambushed me with the blanket, and he whacked me up with the belt. Then, how could you break my record? But it just you know how it goes.
Yeah.
With the older ones on the trips. But it was just fun.
Yeah. So from those events, then that I guess that gave you a lot of inspiration, and so you got recruited into Florida State.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
After my third.
How was that process? That when they recruited you, how did the process go? What was involved in that? What could students expect who have never been recruited?
You mean
like how they approach you?
Go there, or when you actually get there?
Yeah, once they recruiting you to get you to come there, and they asking you all these questions or telling you about their schools or what they promising you and all these different things.
Yes.
That they go through. What should they look out? What should students look out for?
I wouldn't really say they should look out for anything. No, let me don't put it like that. Research the school that wants you. Then you know, okay, is this a Division 1, 2, or 3 university? Or is it a junior college? You know what I mean? Is it a community college? Then you would know where to put your eggs, you know? If you have a good grade point average, you shouldn't really be listening to a junior college or community college. You want to listen to one of the divisions, you know? And according to how good of an athlete you are and how good you balance the grades, that determines which one of those divisions you should talk to. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you have good
Okay.
grades and you are an excellent athlete or even an okay athlete, they would accept you and help to build you up. You know?
Right. Right.
So I would just say, just balance the schoolwork. You know what I mean? And keep that legs going, and they don't worry about it. You're
Yeah.
a swimmer, you swim that time, they gonna see that.
Yeah.
You play baseball, you get them RBIs and stuff like that, they gonna see that. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
run track, you run fast times, you win medals, they gonna see that. So your focus should really be on your craft. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Getting as best as you could be.
Yes, sir. The road is gonna pave itself as you go.
Okay.
You just have to stay on track. You know.
Cool. And then once you got to the school and got in the system, I'm sure that must have been a little bit of a culture shock.
Yeah, I mean, not too much of a culture shock, because I would say, Bahamians, a lot of us are privy to travel. You know what I mean? Especially, I was right there in Florida, even though it was Tallahassee. Remember, I told you I lived in Jacksonville for a year.
Right.
So, and we actually visited Tallahassee a couple of times. So I was kind of already exposed to what I was supposed to experience.
Right.
Does that make
Okay.
sense? Scenery wise, but culturally, I'd say I was more prepared just because of how much times I've traveled to the States, to Florida.
Right.
No,
Right.
we have American cousins and things that you have that auntie, or you might have a sister or a cousin who've been living in the States for 30 years now, and she have kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So your kids would visit her kids in the summertime or something like that. So we would get accustomed. So it wasn't too much of a culture shock to me. I would say what really shocked me when I got there with not to say no supervision, but I had mommy or daddy watching me over my shoulder. You know, the how am I gonna put this?
The freedom.
Yeah, you know, I'm about to talk about freedom for sure, but how easy it is to get in trouble with that freedom. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
It is super. I mean, just like a wet floor, how easy it is to slip.
Right.
That's how it is when you get that freedom. And I would say with Bahamian athletes, freedom is the shock. Freedom is the shock with Bahamian athletes. If you was to interview, let's say people who graduate from 2005 to 2015, let's just give that time range.
Yeah.
Athletes or not, or regular students, ask them what the biggest shock to them was. Them seeing how free this country over there really is. And when I say free, I mean how bold you can be.
Right.
You understand where I'm going?
Yeah.
You could live as you please, but just know that you make that left step.
Yeah, you stand on a banana.
Law or whatever on you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You realize that this experience is just an opportunity. It's just not even an opportunity. It's a mere chance, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's the land of opportunity, but with opportunity, there's a lot of responsibility. And what we tend not to do is train our people how to deal with responsibility when we don't have authority around, because we are such a heavy-handed society where, we can tell your mom or whatever, and so you can get beaten. So everybody be scared to do something versus learning how to manage it themselves, the time, right, and so forth. And so you were on the team for how long before you had your incident?
2 years.
2 years?
Almost 2.5. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what was that going like with the track experience in your school?
Freshman and sophomore of the year of my whole conference.
Okay.
When you walked into the athletic building at Florida State, you would see both of them banners hanging up,
Right.
I'm next to all the football greats and the swimming greats for that year. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. So you was a
So
rock star.
yeah, I mean, I was on top of my thing, man. It was a good feeling to know that everybody who walked into this building
Mm-hmm.
gonna see my face up there. You know,
Yeah. And so how did that impact you? How did that influence your attitude and the way you made decisions?
at that point in my life, I had already ran so much under the banner of the Bahamas
Mm-hmm.
that when I went to Florida State, people didn't, people don't know you. The Americans don't know Bahamians. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
I went there, and that was the shock for me. I'm like, y'all don't know Dirty. Y'all don't know me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like more of I had to prove myself again kind of thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I was already accustomed, and I was already accustomed to that type of. I was ready for the action. Let me put it that way.
Right. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just plain and simple, Action
Mm-hmm.
Jackson was ready for the action.
There you go. There you go.
But the biggest shock to me was I remember my first race in college. I was 17 at the time, and the dude in the lane in front of me was 28.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking like, hold on, ain't no age groups. Nobody told me it
Yep.
wasn't age groups in college. Nobody told me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Knowles,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't lie to you.
I know the
So
feeling. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
even I had practice from August to, let's say this meet was in December, early December, because they have the indoor season starts early for track and field on the collegiate level.
Mm-hmm.
So this was an indoor meet in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Drive down there to Birmingham. You know what I mean? We flew. We just for the first meet. Yeah, for the first meet, we flew from Tallahassee to Birmingham, which is like maybe an hour and a half drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very close. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
30, 20-minute plane ride. The bus is there. We ain't had to do too much sitting down. Like they butter you up good for your first
Yeah.
go around.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I
That's
get
why I
there
asked you to
and I see
explain
the
the
heat
experience.
sheet.
Yeah.
I look at the heat sheets. Stephen Newbold, 17. Lane 4, 28. Lane 5, 23. Lane 6, 24. I'm like, hold on, this don't seem fair to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These dudes almost 10 years older than me. So uh that was the part I had to prove there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this pool now where ain't no edge. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
like boxing, and it ain't no that. I mean, there isn't any different weight classes.
Right. Right.
I'm in
Mm-hmm.
band. I'm in flyweight, and I gotta go box a heavyweight. You know
Heavyweight.
that
Right.
that's how that seemed to me. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool.
So
So I mean, so that just tells you how much athleticism we have in the Bahamas that we even at these ages we still compete and we do it cleanly without all the substances and stuff that we see around the world. But we all make mistakes somewhere, and you made a left turn somewhere, right?
mhm.
And you got in trouble with, or at least you got pulled before the courts and the like, and the officers and stuff. You want to tell us a little bit about that? We don't want to dwell too much in it, but just to say, how did that change or impact your to do when you had the case?
It was just a situation of wrong place, wrong time. And I personally didn't have to go in front of the courts. Just my lawyer had to appeal.
Okay.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? It was
Mm-hmm.
really a kind of a slap on the wrist situation,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, it was a situation for me to open my eyes and say that, hey, life is real. When I say slap on the wrist situation, I just mean that's how um, it was to me while I seen the actual charges.
Right.
But
Right. Mm-hmm.
this whole situation developed into something else as it hit the Bahamian media.
Right. Okay.
That's where this whole thing took a big twist. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, when the story was originally aired on the American news as well, there was majority of the details were wrong. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So if you actually knew what happened within the case and what happened with my my other teammate who was arrested as well, then you would see that this whole thing was a farce, you know.
Right, right, right.
That's all.
So how did that change your mentality? That's what I'm asking you. So how did that cause you to either raise your game or refocus or whatever it did for you?
Me actually seeing like because of course that night I was arrested, but I was released like the next day. Me
Okay.
actually going into that penal system and
Right.
seeing you seeing actual real convicts and stuff. That's
Mm-hmm.
what that really opened my eyes to say, do you? I didn't want this type of lifestyle or anything, but do you want to be here for the next 10, 15 years? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
You really have to screen what you do. You really have to not be in the wrong place, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm. Cool. So what Devon says, what is the best way to deal with college system when it comes to setbacks and injuries? And I guess this is one of the setbacks kind of thing because it tarnishes your brand more so than not your athletic ability, but it tarnishes your brand
Yeah.
and so forth.
If we as Bahamian society, right? It's the same thing with academics over here as well, and I'll make the connection between them.
Okay.
Let's say, for instance, track athletes. If the coaches were more in tune to, I don't want to step on nobody's feet. If the coaches were more in tune to what actually happens to their athletes when they go there, then
Right.
they'll know what to tell the next set of athletes. You see what I'm saying? So let me
So which
articulate that
coaches you mean?
better.
The Bahamian coaches or the foreign coaches?
The Bahamian coaches. Let me articulate that better. We have
Okay.
had enough athletes to go off and experience the collegiate system, or we may have you to when we come back, the Bahamian coaches
Right.
should know what to tell the athletes before they go. You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
the new ones. Before the new ones
Before
go,
they go.
what to
Remember,
expect. Yeah.
we are just
Yeah.
pointing out the fact that us as Bahamians getting scholarship offers to go to
Right.
university is just an opportunity,
Right.
a mere chance.
Mm-hmm.
So once we drill that into our athletes' head before they go over there, it wouldn't be such a shock when we get injured and coach
Mm-hmm.
telling you, hey, if you ain't performing, I don't need you here.
Right. Right.
You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
It gets real like that. The same coach.
Yep.
Let's say you done been to the school for 2 years. You never had an injury. You never had a this. You never had a that. This one conference meet, you pull your hamstring and you can't run. That's when you see the
Mm-hmm.
real coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
when they're gonna let you know, hey, this is just an opportunity, a
Right.
mere chance. If
Yeah.
you don't run and you don't score points, what I need you here for? You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
mentally, the athletes have to be prepared for that because you could physically heal your muscles,
But not your mind.
but not your mind.
Right. Mm-hmm.
This is what bothers an athlete. You know what I mean? They
Mm-hmm.
get you could have somebody who get hurt, who becomes injured, and then bam, not injury there. I work through that, my head strong, everything good.
Mm-hmm.
Then it happens again.
Yeah, okay.
All right, I'm still good, everything cool. It happens again after that. Now you got the depression from coach now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I seen a lot of Bahamian athletes go from being student athletes, just students,
Students. Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah, the business side of it, right? Yeah.
That's what.
So, because, especially when you get into Division 1 and Division 2 in particular, where and you're talking about even the big schools that have multi sports and the like who making millions of dollars off of the athletic system.
That's what.
So they look at the athletes as products more so than anything else. I mean, there are good coaches who can still try to develop athletes and develop personal relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But the ultimate goal is they have athletic directors and other people who are on their head to make
That's
sure
what.
that their teams produce. Well, lady, it's good now. Let's just take this little break now, and then when we come back, we'll dive down a little deeper into how do we accomplish these things that you get there? How do we help a student walk through the whole journey, whether they set their goals, etc., what they got to sacrifice to get there and all that, to get to become an Olympian and so forth. So you've been listening to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. I'm here with Stephen Doherty Newbold, who is closer to my family than I ever even knew, because my daddy used to beat up on his uncle. But I'm sure he'll get different stories when he say it the other way around. But the record is there. But
Yes,
we'll be
sir.
right back after these commercials and continue our conversation.
All right.
Sammy's Chicken. There's nothing like it.
This is Coach Denzel Knowles, founder and head coach at 242 Elite. I just wanted to talk to you guys about our first trip in program history to Orlando, Florida. On this trip, we went, like I said, to Orlando, Florida from July 1st to August 3rd. We played in 5 tournaments. We had at least 5 or 6 scrimmages. Came out with at least 25 games for the month. On top of that, the guys had workouts with prep school coaches. They had a few college coaches watch them, and 5 out of 9 of our guys have interest from prep schools and college programs thus far from the trip. I think it was a great experience for the guys. It was a great experience for myself. I was very proud of our guys. We had guys who were underage playing. We had some guys that even had their first time playing basketball, organized basketball this year. We came up with 2 second place and 1 first place. I think we did, again, pretty well. We hope to see the program strive. We're hoping to find a permanent sponsor to make this a regular thing and to keep it going and keep helping our youth get better opportunities and follow their dreams. We want to say thank you to all our sponsors, everybody that donated, and we couldn't have done it without y'all. So again, thank you, and we hope to see you guys again soon when we go off, hopefully in December.
Welcome back to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. I'm here this evening with Stephen Doherty Newbold, a junior champion, and he's gone on to become many more champions in many ways, an Olympian who has actually medaled at the Olympics with the relays, etc. So we've been talking about journey and how to improve to how to become an Olympian. And so we talked about his journey so far and what his experiences was so that we could get appreciation as to what all of the things that you might have to go through. And so now we're going to tap into a little bit on how to help athletes become more successful, or to give them a guideline as to how they can actually follow, or what process they might want to follow in order to achieve their goals to become an Olympian. So welcome back, Daddy.
That's Mr. Nodes.
Good. So we were talking just before the break about the process, and so when we look at that mindset now that is required, we talk about the body, mind, and soul, and we know athletics is about a lot of physical to do, and talent, raw talent, and the like, particularly in the athletics of track and field, and so forth. But the mindset behind what is required to become an Olympian, and you came up from the bottom up through all of the different levels, and so talk to us a little bit about that process.
You want me to pick up from where we left? Or?
Yeah, we can start from there. Yeah, we could go from there.
Because let's start from okay. From the collegiate level. So
right
after Florida State, I came home, and I had a stint with Puma, but I didn't really capitalize on the opportunity, because I came home, I automatically started experiencing injuries,
Okay.
And it was because right then I was pretty used to the collegiate system. All I had to do was stretch. I just show up at the training room and I get a massage. I could go in the cold tub. I could do all type of different techniques, compression
process,
boots,
right?
You know what I mean? Because they have all of these resources and stuff right there. So
you
almost
didn't
like,
have that available to you when you came home.
Not at all.
Okay.
Like these are things you would have to pay for. You see what I'm saying? But at that time, right then, I was only 18. I was turning 19.
Sorry, but you wouldn't have been on a subvention yet then.
No,
okay, all right.
I had to win an Olympic medal to get on subvention, when it should be a developmental kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Okay, but we can get to that. But I just wanted to get to figure out the timeline, because when you say you had to pay for it,
so
I just want to know. So basically, at that point, an athlete who is not on subvention has a huge road obstacle ahead of them, because they can't get access to the things that they need to get access to in order to maximize their abilities. That's basically what we're saying, right?
Yeah. The more we mature, the more fragile our bodies become. So an athlete who is ready to run at the senior level now should really have the state of art equipment to help him. Let me put it that way, to help her. Yes, sir. Right. So me coming home, and the biggest thing about this is, when athletes with talent come home in any sport in the Bahamas, there is no system in place. There is no system in place. So when these athletes come home, they have to, you gotta get a coach. You know what I mean? And coach don't have all of the resources either.
Right.
Coach still working with high school youths most likely. You know what I mean? So
the fund is his revenue, his income. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, nothing to do with his income. I'm just saying that's the playing field he's playing with.
Okay.
So now he has to take on you, who has already been accustomed to that. I'm just going to use the reference state-of-the-art equipment they have in America, or different resources at hand.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like they have a whole bunch of canap in one bucket.
Right.
And they just have to pick like that. Where Bahamians, we got to go climb up to the top of the tree. where the connect them is, because they ain't
Right.
none left at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then you have to try go find a branch. Don't fall. You know what I mean? Most likely
Yeah.
you're gonna fall and you could break something.
Yeah.
Now you gotta spend your time away from your craft because you just had to go. No.
Yeah, the deviate from what you need to do. So that by itself is one of the most major items that I know across the board, like you said, in almost every sport that I'm aware of, that we struggle with, that our development process and access to equipment and tools and the like. We have coaches who are competent. So I don't think coaching is we have coaches who don't know. Yes, everybody has that, but we do have coaches who are competent to train
Yeah,
persons.
coach
But
is
we don't
very,
have
very
we don't
competent.
always
Yes,
have all the facilities, enough facilities, and we don't always have enough training equipment in order to maximize the athletes. That's across the board. Every sport that I know about in the Bahamas is like that. Yeah.
And now that the analogy I was making, now that coach who is an expert on the junior level, he have to take you on. You know what I'm saying? And now tweak the program to whereas it works for you now. We never had you before. You know what I mean? So of course it's going to be a trial and error situation. And at that level, you shouldn't be doing trial and error situations. You know what I mean? These years going by.
Right.
Every year is another big championship, another big this, another that. You know what I mean? So it's the years we spend just trying to get back to where we left off as juniors. It's years gone to waste. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you come out of, or even if you're still in school, I mean, I guess if you're still in university, then you have, most persons would not come home. They'll just stay over there so that they could continue to train and the like, because the opportunity to train at that level is not the same here as it is there.
That's all.
And so forth. But let's say they finish school or like you say, got injured, and so that there's no incentive for the school to keep you on the team, but you still have potential once you get beyond your injury to go and still do some great things in the sport.
Yeah.
That training is a major gap. That space between being in the system and having access until you win a medal. Then that's when they turn on the subvention.
That was the road for me. And because my timeline of events, I would say that's the reason why. Because of what I went through, how I got arrested or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
The situation was demonized and it shouldn't have had been. So I believe the folks gave me the harder route just because of that situation. But at the same time, I know all the athletes. You know what I mean? None of us who were, let me put it this way, making sense. That might sound cruel. So it might sound harsh, but I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
None of us who are making sense will put on developmental funds. The who's and the who link up with this one, and that's who actually got developmental, the help. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just off that, let's say when I came back in 2013, a whole generation of athletes died right then.
Wow.
Right then. Whoever came home with me, whoever was finished school right then, I'm telling you, a whole because I had 2 more years in school. But I can tell you about the ones who had finished school and
graduated,
just graduated or just might have finished their masters. I know them from that particular era. Of course, they would have been older than me. So, but this is something I watched right when I came home. I've seen everybody get jobs. Like talent would have been prevalent right now. Like how we just watched Jamaica win the 1, 2, and 3.
I was going to ask about that just now. Yeah.
We seeing them do the same thing with Bull, Warren Ware, and Johan Blake 1, 2. The Bahamas, we known for doing this on the Carifta level, especially in track and field. We make them other countries barely hurt. They barely start breaking down when they see the aquamarine coming. So by the time we get on the senior level, it should be the same effect.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when you when you start to deal with sound tough, this could be deep, whatever,
Go ahead, man.
federations and
Yeah.
governmental institutions with deal with
Yeah.
money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's where the problem is right there. That's where our problem is in this society.
Right.
Anything dealing with money and where money's supposed to make things flow, problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Wow. That's a
That's
serious thing. Mm-hmm.
So let's think about all the famous baseball athletes, all the famous swimmers, all the
Right.
famous track and field athletes, all the famous boxers, all the famous man, I can't even name all the different talents we have. Basketball. There are no professional camps for any of those different sporting entities
Right.
or disciplines.
So that is telling me two things. That one, the government don't have any programs, and two, corporate Bahamas don't support sports like they do in other places in the world. And I
Yes,
don't
sir.
just mean the athlete, but I'm talking about the actual sport.
Yes, sir.
Like one time
Yes,
ago,
sir. And
Mr. Malone, those at Bexbury and the rest of those, I mean, they were killing. They were all over the place. Buttons Formal Wear, people, they do a lot for sports in Bahamas, T-Bird Flyers, but I don't know if we have those type of organizations around today.
I was just about to say it's because of when you deal, okay, if let's say a big construction company or law firm, hundreds
Right.
of $1 million, wants
Right.
to invest in track and field on the whole in the Bahamas,
Mhm.
they are going to link with the federations and the governments, and these people who doing the same game with the taxpayers' money. Now, when we have corporate sponsors from corporate Bahamas, they do the same thing with that money. So the money don't never actually make it down, or the only little drizzles to make it down to us. Where I think if corporate Bahamas would be so kind or whatever to actually get in touch with the individuals, you know what I mean? That would ensure immediate
impact
and immediate change. You know what I mean?
Right.
That would ensure it, because now you actually know that, hey, we pumping this directly into the effort. We ain't gotta listen on a report from Mr. Sue on how athletics is going. You know what I mean? Because Mr. Sue could give you anything with a bright smile, and he can tell you anything with a bright smile.
Right.
And you will never know that folks aren't being compensated or what's up you.
Yeah. So when we look at that for the health persons out there, we have the Bahamas Olympic Committee. We have the Bahamas, how do you put it? B3A is the Bahamas
Association of
Athletic Association. Then you have the Coaches Association. Then you have clubs, and you have individual coaching. So I would think that they were the main levels of operation. And so basically, we're saying is the corporate sponsors deal with the BOC and the BAAA, but they don't really get to where I would think would be is the Coaches Association and the clubs is where they need to dump the money, because that's the way the hands-on happens with the athletes. Because
beautiful articulation right there.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that, but the Coaches Association really takes up for the athletes. Now that if that's an entity corporate Bahamas should really tap into if they want to do something that entails more than one athlete, or you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. And who are the leaders of that association today? Is there a body, or is it just a bunch of coaches together?
No, it's an official body. They have a president. The president is Mr. Sean Miller. Coach Sean Miller.
That's your man.
He played a vital role in my latter years.
Yeah, I want you to touch on him in a minute. I want you to touch on him in a minute. So if we look at that, then in terms of get the clubs and if we could get more involvement there, and so that subvention, is that sufficient for elite athletes?
I mean, it's not subvention is not going to pay all your bills, but the thing about it is we don't need subvention to pay all our bills. We need it to pay our track bills.
Right.
Or whatever. Sorry about that. That's my dog. Whatever
Yeah.
discipline you do, we needed to pay the bills of that, and it won't cover all the bills anyway.
No,
But
fair
it's
enough.
at least, it's at least it's ensuring the athlete that you are loved. Put it this way: we
Yeah, you have
know the road is
your
tough.
base.
We know it's hard. We appreciate your talents. We appreciate your efforts, and we want. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This
And
fund
so-
is actually, like I said, from the taxpayers' money. So people like you, my mother, grandmother, cousin, auntie, you see what I'm saying? People with normal hard working jobs.
Right.
It's your funds are being accumulated into. You understand
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So I would
exactly
feel
right.
like they should do what the public wants. You know what I mean? But in the Bahamas, this a favor system. Subvention is almost equivalent to the scholarship you getting from the American colleges, and they telling you, hey, this is a chance. That's what I see subvention as now, just an opportunity, a chance.
Okay. Yeah. So Devon is asking this question about how do we hold the leaders accountable for developing and investing in our athletes? And the main thing is participation, however you want to say it. The parents, the sponsors, the friends of sports, etc., need to voice themselves and don't just sit back and listen and watch, right? But we tend to like to complain about what athletes do when they don't do, and so forth. Endorsements and sponsorship. Like we talked about.
I have a little comment to go along with the question
Go
that
ahead.
I want to ask. How do we ensure that they do? Yes. How do we, as taxpayers, hold our leaders accountable for developing and investing in our athletes? That's how we hold them accountable. First of all, they need to audit the last 20, 30 years. Audit that. That's where to start. Now we can see who been doing what been missing in the ministry of sports and in every single federation in every sports. Audit them. That's the beginning of holding them accountable. If we don't have measures that are that strict,
Right.
nothing would ever change.
Yeah, that is very much true. And so now when we look at the individual and developing each other, and are we optimizing our opportunity to become an Olympic athlete? What do you think is most needed in order, if I was to make you the chief, to say, Dirty, I'm the minister now of sports or whatever. I have the authority. I want you to become the consultant, the person to go through all of the systems, each one of them levels we call, and say, come back with a plan as to what needs to happen. What would be the major focus that from UC would need to happen in order to put us on the road?
Dealing with athletics on what level? Youth?
We're talking about to be able to develop as many Olympic athletes as possible.
An Olympian. The first thing is making sure we have those camps. The sporting camps.
Right.
We need to have one of those for every discipline. Whereas
now, when you say discipline for people, you're talking about every event, every
sport.
Right.
Every sport. We don't care who you are. You come here and we get you ready.
Right.
You're a Bahamian? All right. You go down there to the National Baseball Institute, or you go down there to the swimming thing. We know who you are. You Dale Notes.
Right.
We know you Dale. You've been beating up on them people in America. Now you back home now. We gonna get you set up with subvention.
Right.
And we have our trainers and everything ready to help you out.
Right. Okay.
See what I'm saying? This is how we should really have a society. It almost should be like we breeding horses.
Right. That's what it is.
That should be the feeling.
Yeah. Baseball, we have something called a farm club.
We joking. Because other countries, they didn't even pass that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got breeding grounds like fish. We talking about us.
Yeah. 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 So that's the first one. What would be another one?
The second thing would be holding the higher ups accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Because we
Okay.
can't have people performing on the Olympic level and it ain't no ice. It ain't even a cold. There's no cold tub at the track right now.
What?
They just make it look good and make one out of garbage.
Wow.
Or they might bring one from somewhere else the day of the meet, and now it's a cold tub. But everyday practice, ain't no cold tub. Ain't even a tub to put water in. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That you have to buy ice. I feel like as a nation, we have stuff like Chili Willy ice and all of them people.
Mm-hmm.
No sporting facility should have to worry about ice. That should be like one little $3,000 budget on the governmental thing every year. You know how much $3,000 where ice is? You could have a cooler there,
Mm-hmm.
cooler there, cooler. See what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Just make
Right.
sure these coolers always have ice in it.
Yeah.
But you know, just simple as that, don't bring politics. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Because this one go on carry one buy ice home, that one go on, and then that leads up nothing.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now mentorship, you mentioned Sean Miller and some of the things that you are mentoring people now and you have mentors. And so help us understand a little bit of that also. What does that mean to have a mentor? And who are your mentors and who you mentoring? Yeah.
As how all right, how am I gonna put this? The way our society is set up, when athletes come home, we go through the struggles. You know what I mean? We should have mentorship mandatory as well under the Olympic building and
Right.
Olympian.
Mm-hmm.
We should have mentorship mandatory as well because these athletes need people to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, to help them along the way. Mm-hmm.
You don't know what these folks go through on a daily basis, especially somebody who's already been there and done that,
Mm-hmm.
still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what these size levels go through. So it's always nice to have to know that you have somebody who believes in you, and they're gonna sit down and listen to what exactly is the issue here,
Mm-hmm.
and how do we deal with this issue and these types of issues. And when I'm not here, how are you going to deal with these type of issues? You know.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's Coach Miller, with me specifically. You know what I mean? I had a point in my life where I had made up in my mind that I'm quitting track. This is right after the situation where I was signed with Puma,
Right.
but I didn't perform because it's not set. The system ain't set up for us to perform. You know what I mean? You almost have to. If you make it out,
Mm-hmm.
if you make it to where the point where you get your head above water and you don't drown, and
Right.
drown means give up on your dreams.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You good.
Yeah. You don't have somebody to guide you. Yeah.
You're gonna need to have somebody to guide you. And I was already at that point where I said, you know what? I gonna do what I gotta do on this road. Be him and dark, I can do what I have to do on this road. I ain't really worrying about track on that. Now however I get my money is how I get my money.
Right.
And God didn't let me take that path for too long.
Mm-hmm.
He woke something up in Coach Miller's spirit, and he got in contact with me. Coach Miller wasn't just a mentor for me; he was my coach.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he said, "Steven, just give me a chance, man, and just give me a chance, and we could work through this." And
Right.
within a year, I was Olympic medalist.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
All
That's the
through me
thing.
just believing in myself again first foremost, because that was Coach Miller's message.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You gotta believe in you. I can't
Mm-hmm.
make you into something. You know what I mean? You are that something, Steven. You
Right.
gotta believe it.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But we did work hard. I didn't say that to say we didn't work hard, because
Mm-hmm.
if you are not familiar Mr. Sean Miller. Don't go to him and say let's boycott. I can put it that way.
Yeah.
You better.
That's a Robocop. Mm-hmm.
I hope your middle name is Donkey because he could work you like one of them. You better be ready to work.
Yeah. So what you're saying is what I learned along the way from a couple of coaches that they always said to us, and this is coaches in baseball and this is coaches in life, who said to us that success has basically 4 fundamental steps. One is to set goals. Make sure you have goals and the goals are far enough that you need somebody to help you to reach them. Figure out what you need to sacrifice in order to get those goals, because you got to give up something. If you ain't giving up something, the goal ain't big enough. Then have somebody who could coach you, mentor you, whatever it is to do, and establish a game plan to get there. Those 4 basic things. And sound like once you got contacted in connection with Coach Miller, and y'all put all of those things together, you already had the talent. Like most Bahamians have talent, but you just got all of the other things lined up in the right spot, the right time, and then boom, you was on your way, right? That just sound like how it worked out for you.
Yeah, that's exactly how it worked out.
I did a little bit of research there, but I mean, I might have been cheating, but I mean, yeah.
That's exactly how it worked out. I wouldn't change a thing you said, even though you made it sound really diplomatic, and you used a lot of diplomacy, but still. Yeah, because the road was rough. It was a real rough road, but once you stick to those consistent points, right at those points, I would say that's a beautiful way to summarize it. Yes, sir.
Cool, awesome. So tell us now, for all of those out there who look, they see you, they might not know you. Some of the younger athletes now, I know you around the track, and some of them know you from the track, but general people in high school and stuff might not know who you are. Who are some of the top athletes that you would say were the top athletes in your life? Who and what of all time and now? And then what was your favorite track moment?
You say favorite athlete? You mean international?
International and Bahamian, whichever. Whoever's the favorite. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
First of all, Chris Brown.
I was going to say, I know you had him somewhere. Yeah.
The fireman. He used to. I love Chris Brown. If I had anybody to teach me without them even knowing how to be patriotic or how to be proud about this, it would be Chris Fireman Brown. I don't know if you ever talked to Chris.
Yeah, I had a conversation with him.
Chris always serious.
Yeah,
and that's what I love about him. And I kind of took that attribute right there myself. I remixed it a little bit. I'll make you laugh. I'm a little comedian, but I'm always serious too, and I get that from Chris Brown. I'd be honest. And along with Chris Brown, I was a huge Sean Crawford fan. Are you familiar with Sean Crawford?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the way Sean Crawford runs 200. I was a huge Sean Crawford. I'm trying to think of everybody before Bolt.
Okay.
Because when Bolt came, that was it. I practice all day, doing what he does at the line, doing the light. I forget what you call it.
Yeah.
So before Bolt, Chris Brown, Maurice Green as well, Sean Crawford. You know Wallace Spearman?
I heard the name, but I don't know too much about him.
Right, Wallace Spearman as well. See, he was the first light-skinned male like myself, like us. The first light-skinned male I actually seen go out there and win something on the world stage.
Okay.
It was either you really real chocolate or you white. I never really see us two in the middle. You know?
No caramel.
Yeah, I ain't really see no caramel. So Wallace Spearman was the first one.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But after Wallace, it's just straight Bolt. I studied that man technique, even his walk. He really became a god to us in track when he came back for the 2008 Olympics in Berlin. I mean, was it Beijing, Beijing, sorry.
Yeah. So the favorite moment, the favorite track moment.
My favorite track moment. My favorite track moment would be
Which you involved.
DAISS in my 12th grade year, 200 meters.
Mm-hmm.
They was announcing the 200 meters, and the announcers couldn't announce nobody names because the whole crowd just was saying 30, 30, 30. I never forget that feeling, and I run on every stage.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
just me hearing my people's, because if you know anything about BAISS,
And that, yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just because of the colors, the different
Mm-hmm.
schools. And I
Mm-hmm.
had every bench screaming my name. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
So that really made me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
That's up.
Yeah. And so as we're coming on to the end here now, so what would be your vision for sports? What would you like to accomplish? Whether it's with you or whether it's with the athletes that you mentor, or just painting a new program environment for the Bahamas. What would you like to see happen?
I mean, uh, on a governmental federation level, I just like to see those people start doing the jobs. On a corporate level, I would love if corporate Bahamas really starts to reach out to the athletes, like individually. Like, it's a lot of us that train here, you know what I mean, on that level
Right.
that need the help. A lot of us I'm one of them. So I'd love if, any corporate entity or any concern or just loving or patriotic citizen would let me put it this way, adopt an athlete, I guess. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It
So
doesn't take much to do that,
right.
But
Could they come
I
and
would
watch
like
you?
it as a society we start thinking this way, because the youth don't have much to be proud about other than things of sports in today's society. I just be honest. There's a lot of crime going on, a lot of sufferation happening.
Yeah.
So
could the corporate world and other persons who want to see how an Olympic athlete or an elite athlete train come and watch you all at the stadium, or do they have that petition off?
Yeah, that's easy. We only live on Nassau.
But I know, but I want you to tell the people out there you're welcome.
It would be very possible. It's very, very possible. Someone like Stephen Newbold, you could reach me on Facebook. You could reach Mr. Knowles. You could reach anybody. Everybody knows everybody. You know what I mean? So and it's not like we have to hide our training where you can't come out and watch.
Right.
I would love the opportunity to actually show or sponsor, what it all entails.
Right.
You know what I mean? Therapy, the training, the travel aspect of it. That's up.
Okay, and I got one more question for you. What would you like to say to the thousands of youth athletes out there? Because you were the youth champion in the Bahamas, and so you were dominant. I don't know if I could really say it the way it really was, but you were dominant at the youth level. So what would you like to say to other youths out there to help them along the way?
Continue believing in yourself. You don't even know who you are yet. You know what I mean? Don't never limit yourself, and always listen to what your mind tells you. And you have to take your craft serious. Don't do whatever sport it is or whatever event or whatever you do. Don't do it as if you're doing someone a favor, or I just making mommy happy by going to practice today. Or no, you actually have to think about your future. You know what I mean? And I would say to the youths to pick a role model. You know what I mean? Or you don't even have to pick one. Get familiar with the older athletes in your discipline. You know what I mean? Try to figure them out. Someone like me. my story is out there. You know what I mean? So I could just simply walk past a group of youths, and a coach would start telling them, that's dirty right there. I mean, they could either say it in a negative way or a positive way. He make a lot of mistakes. You shouldn't want to be like him. Or he made a lot of mistakes, and he still bounced back at the end of the day, and he's still fighting strong. Whatever which way they want to sway that story. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I used to have a coach in not in organized sports, but for a camp I used to go to help me develop. You talk about the camps that we need to have in the Bahamas. We need more of those that I used to go to in the States.
But
here.
Yeah, I totally agree. Man,
right.
what is there for the youth to do right now? There's nothing. If they not in an actual sport or discipline, there's nothing for them to do. I mean, what happened to the outdoor camps, and you know what I mean? It don't have to be an athletic camp. You know what I mean?
Right.
You could find different activities, but what happened to keeping the youth busy? It's almost like it's a disconnect right there. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's 1,000 things we could have these kids doing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even talk about the educational sector.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, what this coach used to say was that come early, leave late. And so, like you were saying, how you be at the stadium all the time, if the athletes come early and watch how you practice and how you train and how you prepare for practice, and then when they leave late, to watch how you actually do afterwards, or even go up to you and ask you questions when they finish their training and the like, that's where you learn the most. And
I totally agree. But for something like that to be plausible, though, and this is just me being honest, because I am in this field, I grew up in this field. These coaches have to let the pride down. Because coaches out here wouldn't want their athlete go into another senior athlete, you know what I mean? Unless they may be Shawnee or Stevie. I just being honest with you, because that's the gold standard. You know
that's
what I
not
mean?
good. Yeah.
Unless they are them, they wouldn't really want them talking to you. You know what I mean? Asking you questions, because the coach looking at you like, you only want to know fast times right now, or what have you not. You see what I'm saying? But I glad I brought up those two names, because I wanted to make a comparison.
Right.
Now, Shawnee and Stevie. Yes, they be human, right? We love them. Nothing negative to say about none of them. I'm glad they go out there and they keep the Bahamas prevalent.
Right.
You know what I mean? It ain't easy to go there and win 400 world titles.
Right.
You know what I mean? I love what they do for us. But do we truly give the credit to the Bahamas or to the American trainers? You see my angle on this?
No, yeah, for sure. When we have this conversation in our sports chat and stuff a lot on the side, because we put the fundamentals down in a lot of ways, but then we rely on other people's systems to nurture and bring out the best in the persons at the last mile, for lack of a better term.
Yes, sir.
So we need to put our own systems in place. Jamaica has done it for themselves, but we need to do it for us. Yeah.
Yes. So when I speak about having those camps there in place, it's because I'm thinking in this type of aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can't even take credit for most of our accomplishments on that level. Like, all right, let's think about Miss Tonique Williams-Darling when she won her 400 title. Where was she training?
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's an attitude, because when I was in school, even though I was not playing, and even though I might have been hurt part of the time, but I wasn't playing, the community, particularly the Cuban community, I had a couple of professors who knew I was playing, and they watched me play, and they wanted me not to go home in the summers. They wanted me to come and do camps in their community.
Yes, sir.
And we know Cuba and baseball is big.
I know.
And they want a little fella from the Bahamas to come because he saw something and whatever to him, right? But
yes, sir.
You say when they come home, and you doing the same thing, or you trying to do something, everybody trying to stop you from doing it. But they
Yeah.
fighting to get you to do it over there.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the attitude difference that we need to change in order to get something done.
Yes, sir. It's
Right?
like when you come and try to get things going, people look at you like, who you think he is?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
You
I
know,
mean? It shouldn't be that way.
I was a nothing to them, but they
Yeah.
say the children don't know that. They just know that I had some skills that they could help their children, and so everybody could help somebody along the way.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
Shawnee and Stevie can't help everybody, but if enough of everybody else help, then more people get the help to raise their game.
And also, if you could have a system in place, we can make more Sunday and Stevie's.
Yes,
You know
yes,
what I'm
yes.
saying?
Mhm.
Is it so hard for us to not even to say get coaches who have this level of we have the level of expertise here. The
Yes.
problem is the combination of resources in one spot.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, they don't even have the ice tub out there.
Yeah. That's sad to know. Yeah. Cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Daddy, it's been really good, man, having this conversation. And I'm hoping that a lot of the children out there, a lot of the student athletes out there, I should say, a lot of corporate Bahamas, government officials, parents in particular, listen to what was said here today and see we might not have articulated as best as they might want to have heard it. But to see that the opportunities are there. I mean, you're an Olympian and you're still fighting, and so there's other people out there who are fighting. You have Coach Millers and the rest of those out there in that bracket. We could make this Bahama line huge. I mean, you had all the Chris Browns and all those when we were running all those 400s and stuff, and then we go to the lull. Now we got to build back up. If we just keep the system rolling and keep it fueling, then should grow from strength to strength versus tearing it down each 2 months or 5 months or a year that we do. You know? Yeah. I'm glad that Devon recommended that you come on the show. Hope it was enjoyable for you.
Lovely experience, man. I'd love to be invited back so we probably can talk with something else.
Yes, yeah, we could dwell into some other bigger things.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So cool. So you've been listening to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles, and we're here this evening, wrap up with Stephen Dirty Newbold, who was an Olympian, and right now available to many out there who wants to get guidance, get assistance, get coached around the track. Experience is a serious thing. Everybody else talk about experience, but when you have it, that's value, and he has it. A lot of other athletes have it of his ilk, and so we encourage you to tune into them and have your children and your student athletes learn as much as you can from them, because what they can teach you is priceless. And it might only take one thing that they say that helps your child to go to another level and get that scholarship or whatever they need in order to catapult their careers to another level. So, Dirty, thank you kindly.
No problem,
we thank everybody out there in social media land for staying on with us. I know we went over the limit, but that's what you do. You train hard, right? And sometimes you get in the groove and you just got to keep going.
Keep going, that's
and make the adjustment. That's how you become better than everybody else, making the sacrifices. They're doing the little things that other people are not prepared to do.
That's right.
Cool. And so what we ask you to do is to pause, think about it with intentional thought, and consider where we go from here. We wish that today has been of value to you, and that message is, if you like it and you like to watch more of our videos, they're out there on Facebook and YouTube. Just keep clicking on the links that follows, and you can get more of this type of content and see how we could help build our Bahama land to greater and greater and greater heights. By all means, stay protected. Protect yourself. Vaccinate or isolate. I think it's as simple as that. The choice is yours. I'm not going to tell you to do one or the other, but whatever one you choose to do, just protect yourself in the whole process. Because this COVID thing ain't playing with nobody, right? So stay safe. Madam Producer, thank you kindly for your patience. So I know you're ready to have my head, but you're keeping us a little longer than we needed to be. But we love it much, love it much. 30, once again, thank you again. And we
So
look
my
forward to
pleasure,
having you
Mr.
back
Notes.
at some
Thank you
point.
as well.
You're welcome. Good evening, all. Madam Producer.
Join Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles as a friend and sponsor. Contact us at somethingtotink242@gmail.com or WhatsApp us at 242-424-0257.